everyone. So today I'm going to be talking about why capital punishment should be abolished in America. If you guys don't know, capital punishment is just basically a nicer way of saying the death penalty. So it's been a lot more common, especially in the last, I would say, 10 years, because a lot of activists are speaking out about it. We also see like public figures, like just an example, like Kim K said, she's very passionate about getting wrongly convicted people out of jail and away from the death sentence, just to avoid that. So those are a few things. It's not the most widely practiced thing, but it is still around. It's, very much here in America. So 3 reasons why we should get rid of it. The first one being it kills innocent people. You never want to kill an innocent person, say, your family member, your parent, your siblings, even, a friend is wrongly convicted. You never want to see them, punished, capital punishment. And then you also, that hurts them and that hurts you, that hurts the family, that hurts everyone, and you don't want to go through that. The second thing, it's not a very productive punishment. There's been no significant study that shows that capital punishment has reduced the amount of crime on the streets or has any correlation to it in that sense at all. There's no correlation. The third thing is that capital punishment is just morally wrong. So initially reading that, I had to ask my family what they thought, just because I think they're very open-minded people. And they all said, in one way or another, there's 3 in my family besides me, they all said that, in some way, shape, or form, that it was wrong and they just did not support it. So I want to get back into that first reason. The death penalty does kill innocent people. This information is going to be from the Death Penalty Information Center. So in the last 50 years, 186 people have been wrongly convicted and exonerated. So exonerated means that originally they were convicted guilty. In this case, they were sentenced to the death penalty. However, new details came up in their case, whatever, that information was, and they became not guilty, so they were released, not sentenced to the death sentence. So, doing the math, then that's 186 people in 50 years. That would be 4 people per year, roughly. So that means 4 people per year who are wrongly convicted could have died. Some people who are convicted, who have already, passed away from the death penalty and whatnot, then we, unfortunately can't help them even if they are wrongly convicted. But to add, that number of 4 and, the blood and everything is on, hypothetically, our hands, America's hands, you just don't want that. Another statement from EGI.org, is that 44 people with disabilities, intellectual disabilities, so that can include anything on the autism spectrum or Down syndrome, but it really is not limited to either of those, then those people have been executed. Even if people are wrongly convicted, it's better to give them more resources or just different outlets instead of being sentenced to death. That's not the best option. It's better to help these people than to just kill them, in short. And then the third thing, kind of connecting to that last point, is that capital punishment is actually more expensive than life without parole. So it's more expensive to kill these people than it is to just keep them alive, feed them, let them walk around, whatever. So by using the alternative, again referring to those other outlets or resources that should be promoted and made available, then we could spend the money instead of using our taxpayer dollars. Then that money can go towards those programs or helping lawyers prepare better for cases or just anything like that, so that we're not killing these people. So the second point that I want to make is that it is not a productive punishment. I've already made that point that that there are all those other options, resources that should be made available, but that's not what I'm going to focus on here. So why it's not productive is because life without parole has actually increased 66% since 2003. That's almost 20 years ago. So that's a very big number even for 20 years. According to procont.org, jurors are more likely to convict someone to a life sentence over the death penalty. And then the next point from this is that there's no actual link from the death penalty to low murder rates. Only a fraction of, really what we would think of as like maybe a serial killer, things like those kind of murderers. Only a fraction of them actually face the death penalty. So the last thing is that the death penalty is morally wrong. So, the first point I'm going to make here is that this is actually very inhumane. There's, different options of doing it or different alternatives in the last, we'll say 50 years. However, it does violate human rights by practicing inhumane treatment. It's also been noted that, prisoners have been degraded by those who are handling them. And the methods that are used are actually torture. So before dying, these people who are convicted, then they experience pain rather than dying instantly. So that's technically torture. And then the last thing, just to bring that different idea in, is that a true Christian would say that it is a sin to kill someone, even if they have killed. Factually, it's against the fifth commandment, which is like, thou shalt not kill. So again, we should abolish it because it does hit those three marks, killing innocent people. Why would we do that? It's not a productive punishment, and it's just morally wrong.